Right, this is the standard seat that comes on the Honda Xadv, and this is the 2025 model. So it's been around for a few months now, 6 months or so. As I say, so this is the standard one, and they also do a comfort seat. And I've bought a comfort seat, it's down there in a box. So I thought what I'd do is I would first work out how you remove this one, and then we'll have a look side by side and actually see if there really is much of a difference. Put the new one on, the comfort seat on, then we can go for a bit of a ride. I've actually got a 3,000 to 3,500 kilometre ride coming up in the very close future. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that ride. I've already done 1,200 kilometres with this seat, so I've got a pretty good feeling about the comfort levels and the ergonomics of this one. And I personally feel the only thing I don't like about this standard seat is that the front is slightly leaning down. So it sort of makes you want to, sort of not fall, but makes you want to sort of go that way on the seat. So if it had a little up bit here, then that would be something that I would like. I know why they haven't done it. This bike's very wide and I'm not particularly tall, and I've got, what have I got, a 32-inch leg. So the reality is that I can only tiptoe on this bike. I can't flat foot it. And if you made this taller or wider or anything more here, it would rule out quite a number of people to be able to ride it. And I don't think that they can get it much lower than it is before it become uncomfortable. So that's my thoughts why the seat is the way it is. Now let's have a little look and see if I can get this one off. We'll have a look at them together and get the new one on. So the little button there to open the seat, it works because I've got my key in the pocket. And so not really had a look, and essentially let's clip you off and you can see yourselves. So what you've got is these two gas struts, and then there's an Allen bolt here, another one here, and then there's two more tucked right up inside there, which don't look particularly easy to get hold of. So I imagine that that's the way to do things. So let's have a little reposition. Right, first of all, let's find out what size Allen key it is. And I'm going to start with a 5mm, because that's what I reckon it is. And it is a 5mm. So I'm just going to use a 5mm Allen on a little ratchet like that, on the lefty loosey position. So I've heard a few people say these were difficult to undo. I hope I haven't broken it. But I imagine that they just held in with a bit of Loctite. So that was the first one loose. And the second one, that's also now loose. Now the next two are a bit more fiddly. And there's not a lot of room in there for that either. Well, let's try it with a normal, what we call a normal Allen key. I'm not sure if I've got any extra room. Okay, maybe, yeah. Yeah, well, that is working. Certainly not a lot of room. Okay, that's that one loose. Nice video of the back of my head there. Okay. Well, it's not the end of the world, but I can't imagine it's going to be that easy to line it back up later on. We'll see. Oh, might have to use a spanner trick. Get some leverage. There we go. Thank God for the ball. on the end of the Allen key. Now I think it's probably just come off by the fingers. Let's feel. Right. Very tricky in there. I have to admit, I thought it was going to be a bit easier than this. Oh, I see. To take the weight off of it. There we go. That's one. Yay, there we go. Oh. So that's the seat off. Right, we've got the standard seat off. Let's get the new one out of the box. I've obviously had it out to have a quick look. So let's see them side by side. There we go, there we have it. So let's pinch you off the tripod again and have a little look. So for me, straight off the bat, let's see what I think. I think that here and here, you've got more thickness straight away. So that and that. So this is going to be higher than this one. You've got this bit here for your back to sit up against, which is sort of there on the other one, but it's not exactly the same. I think we can, yeah, you can see that the comfort seat is definitely taller by about 1 centimetre, both at the back and the front. So the whole seat, I would say, on the comfort seat is a little bit, got more foam in it. The passenger bit looks to be real leather. Doesn't particularly smell of leather. And then, oh, so this section here is all, let's call it pleather, but it might be leather. And then on the sides, so around here, this is sort of like a neoprene feeling fabric, and it's the same on here. As I say, so you've got the leathery bit that runs around in one, so it's actually one whole piece that goes around there. Underneath, they're the same, they're identical. Yep. They don't even give you the rubber grommet that goes here to hold on, so you'd be expected to swap that over from the original seat. So yeah, so far, okay, let's do the feel test. The standard one, oh, I don't know, there's not a lot in it, ever so slightly stiffer, the foam, you know, it's got less give. So on the comfort seat, I guess you're going to squish into it a bit more, but other than that, I'm going to have to ride it to find out whether it is worth it. Right, let's get it back on the bike. So it was a little bit fiddly to get the seat off, but essentially 4 5mm Allen bolts. The two that are up here were a bit more of a fiddle, obviously, than to get to from those two, but essentially relatively easy. Probably took me longer than it would take others, but there you go. Right, now, so it should be a simple reverse to just put the other one back on. So let's give that a go. Right, let's see if we can put the comfort seat on. So it's going to be much the same thing in reverse. So it's going to just be those 4 screws that I've left in there. But which order to do them in, that's the question. I'm going to see if I can get them in loosely at the top first. That's the first one. so far, very easy. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing. So yeah, there's the first screw, there's the second one. Now for these tricky ones at the back. Let's, I think I'll pop you back up there while we mess around. I think it's going to be a mess around. Let's see. Just don't know why this is so difficult. Well, I don't want to jinx it, but one screw is in. Now I'm going to have to do it left-handed. Huh. Maybe I should do everything left-handed. Right, I'm going to get that in as tight as I can with my fingers, because there's almost no room to wield any tools down there. Same for that side. So it's just a case of putting a bit of pressure on the front. I think this is the way to do it. Do those most forwardly screws first. Yes. 3. Left-handed or right-handed? Problem is you can't see. Again, I'll say it again for the 10th time. You can't see what you're doing. Should just be lined up, surely. Yes. Right, so. Oh, just nip them up now. So go back to my trusty Allen key. So, I don't know why I picked this camera up to do this one-handed. That was a mistake. Let's get this little widget. More room for that. Oh, lovely, yes. So, let's nip that one up. I like to get the torque specs out of the manual for these jobs. Use my special torquing hand. Now, look at how difficult this is. Got to get the camera in there. Right, there you go. It's in there. What a nightmare. Right, I'm going to faff about with that, get them tight, and then we'll have a look at the seat together. Right, the way I did those up was I used this ball end of the Allen key, and then for some leverage I added in that to make it long enough and easy enough, etc. So that's that. Oh man, this bike is so difficult to just do anything with. Right, da 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 da. Oh no. Oh yes, it does fit. Right. Whew, what a relief. So instantaneously I can tell you that it's definitely a lot higher here, and I think overall it's just higher up. So let's get it off the stand maybe. I'll try it on the stand. Let's just sit on it. Let's get you over here. Now, what do we think? First thoughts. Well, it's definitely less hard. It's definitely softer than the other seat. And this little bit at the back, which I thought was going to be really annoying, is probably not going to be so. I'm not really sure what it's there for. Lumbar support, God knows. So straight out of the box, I would have said it's an improvement, but is it an improvement for, I don't know what they are in the UK, 300 odd quid for a seat? Possibly, possibly not. Let me go off, do my 3,500 kilometre journey, and when I get back, I'm going to tell you definitively if this was worth the money.
La vida es un
Wow. So, I thought I'd take this opportunity to finish off a couple of little videos. One, just how good this bike is, and two, just how good this seat is. So, I've just done a 10.5-hour day on this bike. I've ridden from Denmark all the way down into the Netherlands. I'm in Gouda. It was 860 kilometres. It took me about, yeah, as I say, at least 10 hours of riding. I've stopped only for fuel and one time for food. And this bike has been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So comfortable that I haven't really had to have any stops for resting. To be honest with you, I could just go for a ride. I could go for a black now. I'm genuinely not joking. You can tell from my voice that I am pretty tired, but after that amount of time, I think I'd probably be more tired than I am. Yes, so this seat, all I can really say is it is definitely worth having. I would buy one. The trick that I think made things easier on my butt, let's see if I can just put this up on the center stand quickly. There we go, as easy as that. I think that the trick is that for a lot of the ride, I've had my feet up like that, and you can really just sort of, it's almost like you're riding a cruiser. And then when you sort of get a bit achy from that, I put these off-road pegs on, then you can shuffle around and it sort of changes the shape of your body so that you're getting a rest. And then you go back the other way and you're getting a rest from the first position. And I think that that is a lot to do with why this bike, or why I've been able to ride it for so long today, is that I've barely stood up. I've literally, I think twice stood up on the pegs. Once when I went over the big bridge in Denmark, and once about an hour ago because I wanted to look at a river that was down by the side of the road. So it's not even that I wanted to stretch, it's just that I was just using the advantage of the pegs to stand up and actually look at something. So I've got to say it, this bike is one comfortable bike. So thanks for watching.